Mm-hmm. Oh, hi guys. Hey, what's this doing here? Well, it looks like Mr. R wants to do more stuff with, we've nicknamed this little creature the Beast. So, Mr. R wants to do more stuff with the Beast. And, yeah, any minute now he's going to be here giving me some tools that we got for it. Oh, there he is now. Yeah. Oh, give them to me. Thank you. Alright, so remember last time, we didn't have these. So we are going to be using these Aviation Snips to do some work on the Beast. And what are we going to do? Well, let's show you. Right now we've got this, I believe, 80mm Noctua fan in here. And yeah, it works just fine. But we're going to be doing some stuff. We're going to make, well, obviously you see what's drawn here. We're going to make a bigger hole. And let me go get the part. Yeah, please. Thank you. Yeah, we are going to be putting in this. There we go. We're going to be putting in this Thermalright Slimline 120mm fan. And I guess we got the Slimline because it'll fit better. And right. So, yes, we're going to be cutting this hole wider. And we've already got it templated just by tracing the box and figuring out where we're going to put holes. But yeah, at this point, we're just going to get started working on this and show you how much easier it is to do the job if you at least have the right cutting tools. And yeah, so let's get started on this. Let me go find my chair and I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. So we've got all our tools laid out and here we are. So we've got to take off these 3 screws as usual. And once we do that, we'll be able to get underneath here and get access to the back of the front plate. And that'll let us do some work on this fan. As you can see, the Noctua has been moved already. We thought that we had it in the front, but we've got it as the main CPU cooler, which is really the best place for it. And the purpose of what we did here was to increase airflow because we've got this GPU sitting here, and we've got the power supply. And yeah, currently we swapped out the power supply with a, I believe it's a 400 watt power supply, and it's from another old PC. And so what we have right now is all the air from the power supply is going into the GPU as well as air that's coming in. And in order to make things better, we want to put a bigger fan in. So, yeah, we've got the Noctua sitting down there, and yeah, and there it is. That's the little black fan, and here we go. Let's take that out. And of course, we don't want this to just drop with gravity. So, yeah, we're going to make sure that we keep a hand under here, or, you know, just make sure it doesn't drop, because that could be bad. Alright, there we go. We're gently pulling that out of the way. And of course we need to get these little set screws out so that they don't just magically work their way out while we're doing work. And of course they'd get lost and we'd have to find them and it would suck. So yeah, let's get these unscrewed properly. Alrighty, and you can see that this little fan is much smaller than what we're going to work on here. And now we need to make sure we don't get any junk in there, so we're going to go get our towel and tuck that in there, and that'll pick up any metal shavings that might fall into here, which we should have far fewer this time because we're actually using the we're actually using the Aviation Snips. There we go. We got everything tucked in properly, I believe. Yeah, a little bit more tucking. And yep, there we go. Let's stand this puppy up. Okay, now, so let's take a look and see. We have 3 different snips. We've got our right-handed cutter, which means it likes to cut circles going around to the left. That's weird. And then we have our straight cutter, which is, yeah. And then we have our right-handed cutter. That's right, the other one was the left-handed cutter. It liked to cut from the left side. This one likes to cut from the right side. Yeah. So before we do any cutty stuff, let's check some stuff here and get our measurements proper. Yeah, I know we've already got stuff there, but yeah, we just want to keep everything as accurate as possible, and we're just gonna make sure that we have everything lined out and have the fan positioned properly. So this fan barely fits in here. I mean, there is some spacing around it, but we've already made sure that we're not going to be hitting any kind of obstruction on the left side here of the case. But now what we want to do is trace in the line for the inside of the circle, so that yeah, we're just drawing it in, rotating the fan and avoiding the little supports as we go around, and just get a rough line. It's much smoother than the one that Mr. R had in there as a ballpark, which was actually fairly close, but not quite. And now we're going to go and fill in the little bits that we didn't get. Yeah, that was a little schmut there. We'll just be careful when we get to that part of the cut. Alright, now, and we're just cleaning things up a little bit. Alright. Okay, yep, we got to be very careful about where we're going to put these holes, because as you can see, there was another hole there that wasn't quite lined up, and we'll use a washer if we have to, but I get the feeling we're just gonna miss that. And now we're using a little teeny tiny drill bit to scratch up the surface, because obviously our Sharpie will not reach through the hole to put a little dot where we need it. Alright, that's 3 of them, and now we need to get the 4th one. Oh, no. We just want to make sure that number 3 is very clear. And, yep, right under our thumb. Okay, there, now we're gonna be done, and how are those marks looking? Yep, there we go, we got marks. And now, we're going to start drilling. That's right. We could have used a little center punch to do a little tapping here, but this is going to be fairly accurate. We're holding the drill in place with our other hand until we have it started just a little bit. And, okay, yeah, the unit's a little wobbly because we have front interface there sticking out. But we're just being slow and gentle, getting this thing lined up. as we go. Come on, we got this. And we're almost there. We're being slow because we don't want to just punch through and... Okay, a little bit more. So we're using the tiny bit to make pilot holes, because if this wiggles around a little bit, then that's okay. If we have a great big bit and it wiggles around a little bit, then we're going to be off by a lot. Okay, let's just keep doing this until we get there. Alrighty. There we go. Okay. Now this one's right on a seam. Oh, see that? Just wiggled over. We don't want it to do that. Let's lean into the seam a little bit. There we go. Get it started, and once we got it set, we can... There we are. We can just bring this up to true vertical. Well, close enough. Again, we have a block sitting out on the bottom of the case, so it tends to want to wobble. Oh, we got some lock up here. Just be gentle and rewind it. Put it in reverse and put it back into forward, and we'll eventually get through that. There we go. That's 3 out of 4. Okay, and now we want to clean up our mess a bit. We got number 4 to drill still. Or did we get that? Oh, there we go. We're cleaning that off. Yep, just brushing it off, getting it off our surface. That way, later on when we take out the towel, we won't have a bunch of shavings just laying around ready to go inside. Yeah, it's obviously not that critical, but I mean, it's never good to have shavings inside your PC. When I say it's not critical, I'm referring back to our previous video where we talked about some of the locations where Mr. R found computers where basically they were coated in metal dust, but they were somehow still working. And like we mentioned before, it's better to not get the metal dust in there in the first place, because your computer's going to work better without it in there. So we're just being very careful. Alright, so now we've got the pilot holes drilled, and let's get to doing more stuff. Oh, there we go. We're going to double check, because I know you can't see it, but we can tell by lining up the holes and making sure the other ones line up, and we're getting in the way, I know, but we're looking down the holes to make sure that the pilot holes are visible, that we can see through to the other side. And that tells us we're close enough that when we make the bigger holes, we won't have a problem with the alignment. Alright, yep, now it's time to switch over to the bigger bit and drill some more holes. Make them bigger, and yep. Okay, and we are, of course, just checking things out, making sure that nothing's, making sure the towel's there. And now we gotta figure out which bit. That one's too big. And this one's still too big. I'm pretty sure this is gonna be the right bit now, and yeah, I think that one's it, yeah. Alright, now, what we need to do is do a final check here. Let's make sure, let's look at our bit with the screw, and yeah, that looks like it lines up pretty good to me. Let's take another look just in case. Here, let's give you the side view, and you can see that those line up pretty good. So it's about the right size, and now here we are, drilling holes. Yep, a lot of drilling. So our last video was how to do this the wrong way and succeed. This video is more along the lines of how to do it the right way and succeed with a lot less problems. Well, a lot less stress. And, you know, yeah, it's much more important to do it the right way, because it's far easier in the long run. Alright, again, we're cleaning things off, and with these bigger bits, they're going to make more mess, so we really want to try to keep things clean. Alright, you can't hear it, but the metal's actually popping underneath the drill bit, so we're reversing it to warm it up and push it backwards. And oh yeah, we got to make sure everything's tucked properly. Don't want the towel to be out of place. Alright, and a little more cleaning. And there we go. We're back to drilling again. Okay. Yes. So, something you should be aware of is that we are trained monkeys here. If you want to do this, I would practice a lot before I did this to a PC case. And be sure to be safe, because what you do here couldn't just damage your PC, it could damage yourself too. So take your time, drill slowly, make sure that nothing's going to get hit by your work. Oh, there we go. We've got our drill, we've got our holes drilled, and we're just going to take that out and shake it out in the trash can, and anything we miss, anything that misses the trash can, the Roomba will pick up. And again, we're tucking everything in, because we're going to be doing some cutting now. Alright, and now we need to clean up our space a little bit. Okay. And now we're going to get the green-handled aviation snips. Those are the ones labeled L. They are a leftwise cutter. Oh, that's the red one. There we go. So let's start by trimming off the plastic and getting access to the metal, and be sure just to take little nibbles. You don't want to cut off too much at once, because if you miss, you'll end up going too far. And you know, there's no going back once you started cutting. So do little cuts and adjust and cut. And okay, yeah, this is us using our hands. You might want to use a pair of gloves that give you a little bit more protection. We've done this enough that we know when things are sharp, you should use protection around these things. You don't want to get your fingers cut. And we're just slowly peeling it out. There we go. Now, because that gives us a little bit more room to get the cutter back in there and nibble some more. And if you saw the previous video, you're going to notice that we've made a whole lot of progress in very little time compared to that. Because, you know, when you're using the correct tool, things go much faster. And the cut is way smoother too. Yep, here we go. This is much smoother. All those poor metal workers that were feeling the disturbance in the forest last time are just having a nice quiet moment right now, going, everything's okay. That's right. And yep, we're taking a little time to adjust things, tweak it a little bit. There we go. Yep. Little bites. Take little bites. Take little nibbles. When you get to a spot where it's already got a hole, be careful. And be careful of that back edge there, because even though we're taking little bites, it is sharp. Okay, now we got to this little gap. We're just, there we go. And let's cut off the plastic. There we are. See how smooth that was? Look at how clean that edge is. Now, there are still little warbles there, so we're going to take the pliers and we're just going to do a couple little tweaks. Now, this hole's much bigger than the other one, so the pliers are fitting in just fine. We could have used the world's tiniest crescent wrench again, but so far we haven't had to. And now we're starting on the next part. This is so much quicker. Yep, just taking little nibbles, clipping away. And there we go, we're helping out by twisting the metal. You want to twist it so that it opens up the gap a little bit more. There we go, and using the pliers, because yes, this is sharp stuff. There we go, let's make a little bit more room. And, yep, taking more nibbles. Look at this, this is so much quicker. Yeah, we're cutting over the area that had our Wi-Fi cable on it, our Wi-Fi antenna, and we don't really mind. I mean, it's a desktop computer, and honestly, we took out the Wi-Fi because it's old. It's old, honestly. We might actually see if we can use that card on our laptop. It's an HP too. Maybe it will work with it. We don't know. We'll check though. That'll be another little mini project. But for now, let's get back to what we're doing. Just trimming stuff out. We're taking our time because there's that gap there and we didn't want to go in the wrong direction. Yep. Come on. We're just clipping away. Taking little nibbles. Come on. If there's only one thing you take away from this video, that is little nibbles. Little nibbles satisfy, and they take a little bit more time, but they're going to be the most accurate way to get the job done. Everybody wants a little nibble. If you take a big bite, you might choke on it. That's right. Just take little nibbles, work your way around. That's what we're doing here. Look at that, we're almost all the way through. Wow. Okay, yep, we're there. It's amazing how much smoother things go when you use the right tools. Now, eventually, you might want to take a Dremel tool or a little sandpaper on a block. Make sure it's a really tough block of sandpaper and grind this little edge down. Because, you could cut yourself. It is very sharp. And, yep, we're just doing little tweaks to make sure that the metal isn't doing anything. And in case there's any little slivers, we're checking for those and trimming those off. And we're just looking. Oh, we're coming in from the other direction. And there we go. We took care of a little hair that was in the way. It's a little metal hair. Yeah, now we're just, no, these are left-handed, but we're using our right hand and it's just weird. Okay, At this point, we have a nice sized hole. And yeah, I know we're touching it a lot and moving little pieces of metal, but we're being very careful about this. It's very easy to cut yourself on this. Yep. Again, we're just tweaking little bits. Yep. Oh, we found another one. Let's wiggle that a little bit and then see if we can get that off. Wiggle, wiggle. There it goes. All right. You might be hearing Miss Anita in the background. Yeah. She's had to go take care of some stuff for the last month or so, but she's back now. That's good. But it's bad because now our recordings are going to have more noise, but it's all right. I think we prefer to have her in the background than, have her be gone. Yep, let's get things out of the way and, clear out that shrapnel. Yeah, so this is a little history time. That twisted metal reminded us that Mr. R's dad was in the military, and, he used to have a big old piece of shrapnel that looked kind of like that, except it was maybe, this big around, and it looked like someone had this really thick metal container, like a collar, and like a collar off a jar, and that it had just been shredded and twisted apart, and he had that because, one night when he was sleeping in his cot, all the alarms went off and he jumped out of his cot and got into his boots, and about when that happened, this giant piece of shrapnel went flying through the tent and poked a hole right in the middle of the cot, and there it was, right where he'd been laying. And so, being, a good soldier, he decided that was a souvenir. That was a reminder that you should do things as soon as you can and, not ignore alarms, because if he had not listened to the alarms, or if he'd just been kind of slow, that would have been in his belly instead of being in the middle of the cot. Yep. Okay. Here we are, finally. We got the towel, we're putting it back in because, guess what? We missed one of the holes. That's right, we were so in a hurry. Well, we weren't in a hurry, we just wanted to do everything, and, yep, now we gotta get number 4 drilled. That's right. We need to get that little hole widened out so that we can get the fit proper. There we go. We're getting there. And there. Oh, there we go. Yeah, we couldn't see that one for some reason. It was just sitting right there, obviously. But yeah, when you're doing a video, you're not just doing the work here. You're also, trying to make sure that people can see what you're doing and that you aren't doing anything egregiously wrong. And then there's always the cat that wants some attention in the middle of all this. All right. Isn't that pretty? Look at that. That looks almost factory, except for all those, black marks where we put the Sharpie. But that's okay. All right, let's get this screwed in. All right, there we go. Nothing touching. Sweet. All right. did mention this is a Thermalright 120 millimeter low profile fan, right? Yeah, it doesn't have RGB because this old HP Pavilion doesn't have an RGB controller. And honestly, we wanted to make sure that this stayed nice and stealthy. Yep, we're getting it on there and still spins. Nice and smooth. And we just have 2 more of the set screws. And we're just putting those in. Yep, and this is pretty good proof so far that everything we're doing is lined up properly. We only got 1 more screw to put in. And that's going in smooth too. Yay. There we are. Now we have a fan. So, yes, let's take a look at the inside now. Oh, we're going to plug in some power and test it. Yay. So, we can do this without any problems because we have taken out the SSD. Yeah. Or no, this boots off the M2 drive, but, well, that's fine. No moving parts. We shouldn't really have a problem. Oh, there we go. We need to wire this up properly first. Duh. Okay, so we're going to take a little time here. Don't mind the cuts. We're getting everything cleared out, and yeah, the cabling's not really tidy yet, but we're just making sure that nothing's getting in the way of moving parts. You know, we've got the intake fan now, we've got the cooler, we have 2 fans on the GeForce RTX 3050, and of course we have the fan on the power supply. And alright, so let's turn it on, and oh yeah, we have air movement. We definitely have air movement. All our fans are running. Alright. Yeah, let's get this. We're really close to that toolbox. Yeah, and we don't have any kind of a guard on the fan, so let's get this up here. There we go. Yeah, you see, nice and smooth. All right, yeah, we're getting that toolbox out of there. All right, so we have a Y splitter coming off of the fan header here. And I think right now it's attached to the CPU, which, you know, it's better to actually have it on the main fan header, and we're going to move it there, as well as tell you a little bit. So this is a PWM fan, which is a pulse wave modulation fan. It's a 4-pin fan, and this rest of the system is a 3-pin system. Now, believe it or not, the PWM fan will work on a 3-pin system, because what'll happen is, because there is no 4th pin on it, it will just use the voltage modulation that's being used for the other fans. Alright, so we've gone through and we've cleaned up the cabling, so it's nice and snug, everything's tucked away and velcroed down, and it looks like we're doing some final little adjustments here. Yeah, there we go, tucking that in. Everything's beautiful here. Yeah, everything's tucked away. Okay, so everything's snug, clean, Okay. Yes, we're bouncing around the different views because we want you to see everything we can. Yeah, so there's very little space here. But the point is that there's just enough. You know, and honestly, we didn't even measure this. We just kind of ballparked it in. And now, the way that this panel fits in, you can see that it's got a specific width, duh. But if we hadn't put the fan in exactly where we did, then we could have very easily gotten in the way and not been able to do this part right here, where we can just slide it in and have it sit properly. So that's something to be aware of if you're going to do this kind of work, is to make sure you have room for these components to go back in place. Okay, so we're pretty much done on the inside. We need to just tighten down the screws again, and oh, we cut to it. We did it. And yes, see how long it took that to stop? We just spun it a little. All right, and now, so here we are. And look at what we did with the cover. Isn't that just look beautiful? Yeah, we covered over the CD bay with the original plate, and that's just glued on there with some what is it? Well, you could use shoe goo. We use something called RTV, which is, the technical version of shoe goo, to stick that down. And look at that. And we put in a whole bunch of more holes to make a nice big opening. Yeah. And it's nice. And yeah, you could have put an RGB fan in there and, put in a little remote controlled fan system for the RGB. But that's way more complicated than we wanted to do. Now, we still have some schmutz on the outside we want to clean up with some isopropyl alcohol, maybe a little Windex on a towel. And here we are. So that's pretty much it. I did mention, didn't I, that we decided to name this little PC the Beast, because it's so unassuming looking. And of course, as beasts go, it's pretty small. It's like the littlest beast, but it's nice with the RTX 3050 in there. We might end up upgrading that RTX 3050 to something a bit beefier, and then it'll really earn that name Beast. But really the reason why we're calling it the Beast is because it's really taken a lot of work to get to where we're at here with it, and it's fought us a bit, but really it's behaving nicely now. Oh yeah, we're gonna do some more testing, but honestly, this is very nice. I'm very happy, even though, when I first saw it, I was like, oh my God, I thought we're done, It's really satisfying when something you do actually comes to an end, and I'm sure there's more stuff we're gonna do. That little thing I mentioned about the GPU and putting in a bigger one, and the only thing, we can't really put in an Intel card, which we'd really like to do, because this PC is old enough that it doesn't have a resizable bar, and we don't have access to all the little things that we should have for the BIOS. If you guys know how to crack a BIOS on this old PC, that would be awesome. If you could put that in the comments, any kind of info on that would be nice. Okay, so we're all done with that for now. I don't know what things will hatch between Mr. R and I for the Beast, but at some point I'm sure we'll do more stuff with it. I mean, the ultimate goal of the beast is to be able to use it to do some editing or some of our lighter video work. Maybe have it set up to do a bunch of cameras so that we can free up the I/O portion of everything onto the second PC, because you can only have so many USB ports on a PC, even if you get a Z series card. I think that's what it is. But in any case, it was fun being here. I hope you enjoyed the video. I know it was far less dramatic than the last one, but this is probably more satisfying. So if you liked it, please like it, leave comments, subscribe, do all those things, because, well, it's just a little bit of feedback, and it makes us feel better when that happens. So, once again, I enjoyed being here, and I hope to see you again next time. Till then, bye!